Hello again, time for another Pigskin preview show as we get ready to recap the games from last week, in which we had a lot of Walton County wins. One team did not fare so well, Social Circle lost for the second week in a row, but Loganville posted a win, Covenant posted a win, LCA Monroe area had a big win at home against a team that they handled pretty well. We'll talk more about that with David Johnson. George Walton Academy was off last week. Walnut Grove had a tremendous win in their second ball game of the year after getting shut out in week 1. But first, we want to talk about Loganville's Region 8 Quad A opener and the home opener for the Red Devils as they knocked off Rockdale County by a score of 30-3. And we sat down with head coach Eric Godfrey and talked about last week's game. Coach, first of all, going back to Friday night, and we talked about it after the ball game, you didn't know really what to expect from your football team, but obviously you had to be pleased.
Yeah, it really was. Very pleased from Friday night's performance. Being as young as we are, and we talked about only having 3 starters on offense returning and no returning starters on defense, we were kind of unexpected on what to expect from all our new guys. And we've done a lot of hard work and a lot of preparation getting guys ready. And I was very pleased with how they performed.
Defensively, with no starters back, not only did they do what you didn't expect, they did everything you could ask.
Yes, they really did. And it's one of those things, practice week, it was kind of so-so, at times. And so, of course, it's getting us upset, and it kept me up. All right, I stayed up a few late nights, a little, worried and tense. But they really did. On Friday, they came, they performed, and we set pretty high expectations at practice and in everything we do, and so they did. They met those expectations Friday night.
Did some of that have to do with the fact that you were open that first week and then we just maybe burn out a little bit?
It very well could be. Like I said, some teams around the state had 2 games before we even, before our very first game. So it was one of those long preseason. We put a lot of time in and we worked really hard. And so to get to that first game, it seemed like forever, but it finally did arrive, and our kids played well.
Now you get to go 10 straight weeks without another break. So
that's right.
From behind the frying pan into the fire, I guess. Mm-hmm. All right, offensively, we talked about Garrett Ford. He didn't have an exceptional passing game, but you could tell he was the leader out there, and he kept things in order.
Yes, and that's going to happen. We got young receivers. Like I said, we graduated 2 seniors that both of them had 30-plus catches. Mm-hmm. And so we graduate 70 catches right there alone in 2 guys. And so we got some young receivers. We got to do a better job doing adjusting. And our run game was so well manufactured. There wasn't a whole lot of need for the pass game. And we started out a little slow last year as far as passing wise as well. And like I said, that's a lot of timing and stuff. Takes a little time for offenses. But yeah, we're definitely, like I said, Garrett is the leader. And we have all the confidence in the world with his throwing game. It's going to win us some games, and so it was. We feel good about our offense. We got some good running backs. Like I said, a great leader in Garrett and a good offensive line.
I want to talk about the running backs in a minute, but tell you what impressed me. You can tell that your kid's been in the weight room. You got a big football team right now.
Yeah, they do that. They work really hard in the weight room. That's what we knew going into it when we were young, but we weren't going to be necessarily outmanned physically by people, and that's important. You got people that got speed, yes, and speed does kill, and speed wins a lot of football games. On college level, every year usually the fastest team wins. Mm-hmm. But in high school you get what you get, and we might not be blessed with a lot of speed. We can get them as strong as we possibly can, so that so we can't be outmatched physically. So it'll keep us in some games and help us win some games.
All right, of course, Joanne Saffold had a big ball game with over 100 yards rushing. But again, as we talked about on the field after the ball game, you got a 3-headed monster back there. Mm-hmm. And when you got competition, that means you got some pretty good players.
Yes, we really do. And like you said, Saffold had a very good football game, and looking for more good things out of him. Bernard Merriweather had some outstanding runs. Saffold's a senior and Bernard's a junior. And then Braxton Beck is the third running back there as a sophomore. And as you said, all 3 of them bring something different to the table, and will continue to push each other. And hopefully they'll compete, and each one will have some standout games. Each one will have some good games, and hopefully they all play well.
Did you just decide to go with the hot hand on Friday night when Juwan was running the ball so well?
Yeah, really, it's funny because the kids, we have a little rotation system kind of set up, and at times the kids, they know who might can do what play better, what think better. So they're not selfish, and they allow each other to do things. And when you look at carries, I think Juwan had 13 and Bernard had 10, something like that. And then Beck, being our sophomore, is not going to get as many carries, but he's still going to touch the ball.
All right, looking ahead to this week with a really good football team in Heritage, knocked off Clark Central. That's about all you need to know about them. Right,
yeah. They're good. They return a lot of starters on both sides of the ball. They've got, Coach Frazier does a very good job with those guys. Defensively wise, they're going to be one of the better defenses we face all season. They do a great job of running to the ball. Them two are very physical. They got some good speed, and so it's going to be a challenge. We'll really find out, what our inexperienced guys have to offer for this season.
All right. Good luck Friday night. We'll talk to you later in the season.
Thank you.
All right. Let's go back now. We'll talk to David Johnson about upcoming games this week. David, I just talked to Coach Godfrey about the size for Loganville, and you and I were talking off camera just a couple of minutes ago. They have really been hitting the weight room, and you can tell it when that team hits the football field.
Yeah, well, Coach Godfrey, I think when he came in, he realized that was what they're going to have to do. They were just going to have to get bigger and stronger. Speed's never been a big thing for them, and so they came in, and I guess comparable to, you can look at Brookwood High School, what they did when Coach Hunter came in there. He realized that that's how they needed to play, and so they hit the weight room and got bigger and stronger. And of course, you know what Brookwood's done, and I think Godfrey's taking the same approach at Loganville, and I think their weight program there is probably second to none.
And they got a big one this week against Heritage that we also just talked to Coach Godfrey about, and they feel pretty good about going into the ball game against a team that just beat Clark Central, but they're going to have to play just about perfect football.
Yeah, it's strange. Here we are in third week of the season, and well, for Loganville, the second week of the season, and already they've got a huge game. And that's just Region 8 Quad A for you. You play a full region schedule, 11, all 10 of your games count, and here they are with Heritage has already established itself as the team to beat in the region. They knocked off Salem week 1, came in upset 10th ranked Clark Central in week 2. They're the team to beat, and so if Loganville can go in there, pull off that win, suddenly we're talking about a serious run at 4 straight postseason appearance for the Red Devils.
You're right. That game's going to be big. Some strange things have gone on all season long. We've had some wins that have really surprised people. We've had some losses that have surprised people.
Yeah, it's been, in fact, I tell you, if anybody can write in or call us, any of our viewers can write in and call us and explain a logical explanation for what's going on these first 2 weeks, then Danny will take you out to lunch one day. It's really been weird. Monroe, opens the season on the road against a lower classification team. They beat by 48 points 2 years ago. Come in and lose in triple overtime. You have Walnut Grove gets blanked the first week and looks like the young program they are. Come back the next week and shuts out a team and just blows them out of the water. And then, of course, Loganville came in. Who expected them to knock off Rockdale that easily? And it's just really made it look easy. But probably the biggest enigma so far has been Social Circle.
Yeah.
I mean, who can explain a team that goes on the road their first week against a higher classification team, 5 turnovers, loses their starting quarterback, and still has a chance to win, pull the upset, come home the next week and just get blasted, humiliated, really 38-0 at home against a program that's really never gotten off the ground. I think Hancock had won 3 games in the previous 3 years. Mm-hmm. Social Circle, you just can't explain them. I don't understand. I know it's frustrating for Coach Seawright, for the players and fans. Offensively, you can understand it. Their quarterback is still struggling after that first week, that big hit he took, and he was in and out of the game Friday. But defensively, Coach Seawright said they put a lot of effort and a lot of work on defense, and then to come out and give up 38 points in their home opener, that was a shocker.
Social Circle is going to be at Aquinas on Friday night. And all of a sudden, that's a big ball game for just the reason you talked about. It's a confidence builder now. They can need something good.
Yeah, they'll be heading into region play after that. So, yeah, they need to get things turned around in a hurry.
All right, George Walton's back in action this week. After a week off, they'll be at home against Warren County.
Yeah, that'll be a real telling game for the Bulldogs because last year that was probably their biggest win, their first big win when they moved to GHSA. They went to Warren County against a really explosive team and held them to 6 points. That was the least points Warren scored all year. In fact, the Lincoln County is the only team that held them to fewer points. And of course, if you know anything about Georgia high school football, Lincoln County is probably one of the premier programs in the state. So this will be a really interesting game for George Walton, simply because they just don't have the players they had last year. They don't have quite the speed to stay with Warren County as they did last year. So it's going to be interesting to see how they handle this. Coach Don mentioned that, one thing, I guess the best defense is going to be a good offense this week, and just try to play keep away, have these, 19 play drives, hold the ball for 7 or 8 minutes, and just see if they can keep the ball away from Warren County.
All right, Walnut Grove's going to be off this week after that big win on Friday night. Monroe area gets a break before starting their region schedule next week. We need to mention what happened at LCA last weekend. What a tragedy it was.
Yeah, that was as ugly a situation as you're going to see at any game. I hope you'll never see anything like that. Of course, for those of you, I guess, that haven't heard, it was a mismatch to begin with. This team comes in from Ackworth, Northside Christian, I believe it is, had 13 players. It was already a mismatch. They come in and it's 27-0 midway through the second quarter, and no other way to explain it except just one of the Northside players just snapped. And after a play, he grabs the helmet of an LCA player, just starts shaking it. He yanks the helmet off his head and just starts beating the kid with it. And it was, the players and teammates finally, or the officials and some teammates finally intervened to stop it. But the Loganville, or the LCA kid, apparently had some concussion-like symptoms. Talked with Coach King yesterday, and the kid seems to be okay. But yeah, that was just that was a bad situation.
And you wrote your column this week about that very same thing. And congratulations to the people who were there that kept their heads, because that could have been a riot situation easily.
Oh yeah, the LCA folks are to be commended. They handled it. There was no, anywhere else, and you're probably seeing a bench clearing brawl or the stands clearing a riot. Mm-hmm. But the LCA folks, they stayed calm, let the authorities handle it. From the last I heard, they're just willing to let bygones be bygones and forgive and forget and move on, although I'm not quite sure how you really forget a situation like that.
All right, LCA is going to be a new creation on Friday night. Both those teams are 2-0. Covenant got a win this past week, and they're going to be at Calvary. Covenant 1-1, Calvary 0-1. So week 4 looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, as the first 3 have been.
Yeah, it'll be quiet because, like I said, we've got 2 teams off, but a lot of strange goings on the first 2 weeks, and so we'll just see what happens come Friday night. Should be fun.
All right, go out to a high school ball game this week, and don't forget we'll be out on Saturday morning with the Walton Tribune. You can read about the games from Friday night, and be sure and tell your friends about Pigskin Preview right here starting on Wednesday afternoons every week. Have a good week, everybody.